Click, click, clap. What's going on, guys? I am SimpleSimon, and another week and another event. Today we're going to the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair once again, put on by Andrew and Will, who also run the Giant Size Toy Fair, who also run what everyone's calling that big one, the Monster Size Toy Fair, which is coming up in August. So this is a bit of a warm up to their main event, I guess you could say. I do have a lot of people who watch the channel who are vintage toy collectors. So a lot of the times I go to events and people are like, oh, there wasn't enough vintage there, all right? If you're into vintage collecting, Vintage and Modern Toy Fair is the one to go to, right? They hold quite a few of these a year, 3 maybe a year, maybe even 4. And then they obviously do their big shows. So they had Giant Size earlier this year, and one of the most anticipated shows for the year this year is obviously their Monster Size one coming up. So we're gonna go check out what they have, see if I can find anything cool, and hopefully we'll have a chat to Will and Andrew as well, if I get time, and find out, you know, a little bit more about the upcoming Monster Size event. So let's go. Quick shout out to my Minions. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you're interested in exclusive members only videos, extended episodes of The Noob, and exclusive emojis, hit the join button to find out more about channel membership. But remember, your membership is not required. The best way to support the channel is by liking and commenting on videos. Alright, so here I am once again at the Malvern Town Hall. Now normally I like to film the early bird line going in. I actually missed the early bird line by about 2 minutes. I showed up a little bit late. And this is so early on and you already got the next line waiting to come in. So in we went into the early bird session. If you ever wonder why people go to the early bird session, it's not just so they can get first dibs on all the best stuff. It's because it's not as crowded. So it's actually easier to film. Make sure you mark your calendars for the Monster Size Toy Fair. It will be epic, and we will talk about that a little bit more in detail later in the video. This first table belongs to Jack's Timeless Treasures, my buddy, and he's gone strictly Pokemon cards. So normally he has all kinds of things, retro games, toys, everything. Jack's gone with the trend. He's a Pokemon card guy now, and he's probably going to yell at me for saying that. Anyway, this table belongs to Pop Toys Andrew, one half of the owners of the event, and he always gets primary location as soon as you walk into the main hall. There he is with Jackie, and he showed me this G.I. Joe figure. I'm not a Joe guy, but I believe this hasn't come out yet around the world, but obviously in Australia we live in the future, so we got it first. And he also had some vintage toys. Look at that. I've never seen that Can Aliens one. I need that, but I don't want it in box. I want it loose because I like displaying them loose, and if I buy it on card, I'm not going to want to open it, but that thing looks awesome. Apparently it makes electronic noises or something. I need that. If anyone sees one of those, let me know. It's got to be loose though. This table here belongs to the one and only Phil from Out of Time Collectibles, and I was able to spend quite a bit of time filming his table this time around. Normally it's so crowded, but because I was in early bird, I took advantage and thought, let's check out all the stuff that Phil has to offer. It is like a time machine, his shop. It has so much cool stuff. If you're my age, like, look at that, 1984. Believe it or not, I'm older than that calendar. Ugh. Now, I'm not a hardcore vintage collector, but something I am trying to get my hands on at a reasonable price at the moment are the Ninja Turtles. I've already got Michelangelo, but I want Donnie, I want Leah, I want Raph, and 20 bucks. Oh, it was so tempting, but I really need him with the staff. I just want their main weapon. I don't care about the other ones. Look at me grabbing it again, having a second thought, but I was like, ugh, I need to get him with a staff. If I buy him for 20 bucks, I know the staff is probably going to cost me 50, so I left him. Fantastic Four is pretty hot right now with the movie coming out, and look at that. That looks pretty old school. And this figure here, look at that. I don't know what it was, but it looks very toyetic, as the toy guys like to say. And check it out, Phil. It's Krull. That's our book, Phil. That represents our friendship. If you know, you know. But yeah, so much cool vintage and retro things at Out of Time Collectibles. Have you ever wanted to smell like Justice? Smell like the night? Well, there you go. You got Batman's clone right there. How good is that? If you saw anything that you liked at this table, make sure you hit up Phil from Out of Time Collectibles. Get your phones out. There's the QR code. Check out the Etsy. Check out the Facebook. Check out the Instagram. And then we moved on to Will's table. This is Will, who is the other owner of the event. And he also has a ton of cool vintage things. Check out this cool Hello Kitty tin that piqued Sarah's interest. And he's got all these loose figure goodness. You know, that's what I'm into. And he also had these really cool magazine-sized comics. I'd never seen a lot of these. Thundercats. I used to love Thundercats when I was a kid. And these Real Ghostbusters. I used to love the Real Ghostbusters cartoon. So these were super cool to look at. I've never seen them before. And here I am, look at that. I'm looking for my vintage turtles, but unfortunately I didn't find any. This table here had a lot of cool stuff. I wasn't familiar with the seller, and he was super busy, so I didn't get a chance to ask if he had a store name, but look at all this cool stuff. Look at that RoboCop figure. Whew, that's hot stuff. And he also had heaps of Transformers. Now, since I missed the early bird line coming in, there was no way I was going to miss the next line. Alright, here we go. This is the 9:30 line. There's my friends John and Vivian. And look at all these people. Shout out to this dude for giving us a wave. And look at them all coming in. And there's my buddy Mark. I met him last week at the Melbourne Collectors Market. And he had some gifts for me. Shout out to you, mate. And we had a good chat. And with the second crowd in, the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair was about to take off. Godzilla's child. What's with these?
Minya. And he's a glow in the dark as well.
Have you got a message for Justin who might be watching this?
Come here, buy things from me, buy Minya.
Jump into a time machine, Justin, and then get ya. Is that like an original Labubu over there? What is that little monster thing? That thing, yeah. That's
Labubu.
That is got to be like the OG, right?
That is Labubu.
That thing. That's got to be worth $500,000 right now.
Apparently, there's some of them that are 200,000.
Yeah, I saw one that got. It was like a bigger version of this. Went for.
Yeah, they make one that's like 1-to-1.
Yeah, it was insane.
Craziness.
Wow.
But
All right, here.
Monster.
What is the name of your shop?
I don't have a shop.
You just don't have a name for this stall?
No, I don't have a store, I don't have a stall, I don't have a shop. I'm just a crazy old collector.
If you had to name the shop though, I mean that's fun. What would you name it?
I had to know.
This is we're coming up with it right now.
Mandrake Australia.
What is it?
Mandrake Australia.
Mandrake Australia, there you go. Shout out to Michael who specializes in vintage Japanese kaiju and anime toys. Our friend Justin is a huge fan of Michael's table, and Michael actually later decided he wanted to change the name of his table to Kaiju Central, I believe it was. And Michael actually sold me my Kenner Aliens Power Loader a couple years ago at the Yarraville Comic and Toy Fair. So he does do other stuff besides vintage Japanese. Rick's Collectibles were there, and his wife Shirlene was showing us this awesome TIE Fighter set of drawers. How good is that? They had a bunch of Motu there. I don't know if you guys know, but I recently became a Motu guy. And making his first appearance at the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair was Troy from Troy Story. I met Troy earlier in the year at the Geelong Comic and Toy Fair. He's from Geelong, so he doesn't really venture out too much. But people were telling me at that show, you've got to go check out that dude's table. And it turned out to be Troy, and he happens to be a fan of the channel. So we had a really good chat, and he has a ton of cool stuff. Stuff that you just don't see everywhere. Like how cool is that Tusken Raider deck? That is super cool. And last time I saw Troy at Geelong, he had these Reebok Stompers, which I want so bad, but he had the Ghostbuster ones and not the Alien ones that I want. And also it was a size 11 and I'm a size 12, baby. And also if he had the Alien ones, I probably wouldn't be able to afford them. Anything good at Gats Collectibles? Oh, you're into all this werewolf. Is this what you're feeling the run? Now, if you've never been to any of these events and you see this table, Ultimate Figure Protection, these are just protective cases for your collectibles. They're not selling the actual toys inside. Don't be that guy. I was that guy when I first saw him. And you know it's a good day when you spot the king of the street in the wild.
I'm the king of the streets, the king of the streets. I'm the king of the streets, the king of the streets. I'm the king of the streets, the king of the streets.
Is it a handbag or is it a CD player? Or is it a purse? Wow. Wow. King of the Street always has the best Hello Kitty CD players. I got this shot for one of my Minions, Billy Combo. Shout out to you, mate. He is a Garfield collector.
Good morning, Simon. I've been waiting for you to come over. I was having my breakfast, so I waited. I couldn't wait anymore, so I start eating, and then you come over.
Well, I'm glad I caught you once without your mouth full.
I'm still eating. Let me help these customers.
All right, that's okay. You help your customers. We'll speak to you soon.
And here's the shot you've all been waiting for, the SimpleSimon signature panning shot, and the place was starting to get busy. Shout out to Zach's Toys here. He had all these retro games that he brought back from Japan, and because Sarah and I are going later in the year, we had a really good chat to Zach, and he gave us some really good advice for when we're in Japan. Now, at first when I saw this heavy metal magazine, I actually thought it was the first appearance of Tana from the heavy metal movie, but now that I'm looking at it, I think it's actually a different cover. The first Tana has like a little fairy pixie character on there, but it's always cool to look at heavy metal magazines. They've got such great art, and you can find a ton of them at Jeffrey's table here, also known as G Loves Toys. Jeff absolutely loves vintage toys. He loves hunting them, he loves finding them, and he was telling me about this troll doll that he found, and just while he was telling me, you could just tell how much joy finding things like that brought him. He also had some cool cards. That Scarlet Spider card's pretty badass. I used to collect those metal cards when I was a kid. But yeah, Jeffrey's table is just filled with all kinds of goodness. This table here belongs to Shane, who has all the wrestling and Motu figures. Now that I've scored my vintage He-Man figure last week, I'm not sure if I'm done collecting Motu or if I've just begun. Now, if you're a pop collector, check out Lots of Pops. They've been teasing at Collect Fest. They're going to bring some of the rarest pops that you'll ever see. And check it out, I spotted a mad SimpleSimon fan. Can't go anywhere these days.
Do you guys have any plush toys?
Not today.
Chunky
From last week.
I came for plush toys. That's all we got today.
Such a great crew at the Gamers Closet. And another table where it's just filled with so much variety. You can really spend a good amount of time just looking at all their cool stuff. But they really specialize in vintage gaming. So there's the Gamers Closet. Check them out. These guys here, mate, these guys have all the cool nostalgia. My type of nostalgia. Like Rambo was my childhood hero. I used to love that movie, The Boy Who Could Fly. Rocky IV, Rocky was another hero. And this movie here. If you have not seen Christopher Lambert in Fortress, you're missing out. I've got my copy of the DVD signed by Christopher Lambert. How about that? I really got to write down these guys' names next time. I think they only sell at the Malvern Vintage and Modern Toy Fair, but they have so much cool stuff. I bought my old Aliens Kenner collector case from these guys, and they're really good people to chat to. Look at all this manga and comic books. This table must belong to my friends Tom and B from Issues, Comics and Culture. They bring all of your reading needs. Is that a thing? Reading needs? I thought I'd have a bit of fun with their single issues here and do a random pull. Let's go. What are we going to get? Boom. You got a nice Psylocke cover. Not too sure who the artist is, but that is a nice cover. They're also huge supporters of the local creator scene. These are all independent comics, which includes the hottest indie publisher in the world. Shout out to Cynation Comics. Shout out to my homie here for showing off his awesome Warriors jacket. He knows I'm a huge Warriors fan and he yelled out, just to show me his awesome Warriors jacket. And he also had a ton of cool stuff at his table here. But in classic SimpleSimon fashion, I totally forgot his name. Now, I actually haven't told you guys yet. I actually came to this event hunting down a specific figure that I saw last week from Nathan at Collect and Conquer. Did you sell it?
So what?
At 209?
Oh, no, I didn't, but I don't think I bought it with me.
Are you serious? That's what I came here for. It is. I was then requested to check out this copy of DC Presents 26, which is the first appearance of the new Teen Titans. And this book was actually pressed. Rumor has it anyway. It was pressed by none other than Charlie from Bulldog Comics. So if you need your comics pressed, hit up Charlie. Now, funny thing about Charlie is, you know, an old school kind of guy, but recently he's been posting on social media, plugging that he's coming to events. So make sure you follow Bulldog Comics and also follow DTE Collectibles, who are showing me this awesome Boba Fett pop. And this table here, I don't remember ever noticing at these events. They might have been there, maybe I just didn't see, but they had a ton of cool retro games. So yeah, had a good flick through these games. I spent a lot of time playing that tennis game back in the day, and they also had these vintage figures. Oh no, there's a He-Man for $65. That's cheaper than what I paid for mine, but mine was complete, and all I really wanted was the sword. So into the back room we went. Now by this time, Sarah and I had been at the event for over 3 hours, and we did have lunch planned, so we did kind of rush through this room. We didn't really get to have a good look, but I did do a quick scan with the old phone, because I still want to show you the tables in this room, including this table, which is one of my favorite tables. This dude here, Mark, he has all the stuff I want. And you know what the name of his store is? Awesome Old Stuff. You got some awesome old stuff here, mate? I'm so funny. He had these awesome Aliens micro machines. I've actually been kind of after those, but I'd already spent my money for the day. Oh, whoops, did I say I spent some money? Oh, now you're gonna have to stick around to the end to see what I got. But yeah, as you can see, Mark's Awesome Old Stuff here is really my kind of stuff. He should change his store name to Simon's Kind of Stuff. And then this table here had an awesome Masters of the Universe display. There was so much cool stuff at this table. Now, if you're watching this video and you've never been to one of these events and you're thinking, I'd love to go to an event like this, well, stay tuned because we're about to tell you about the Mecca of toy fairs. Will,
Time.
part owner of the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair.
Yep, the good part.
The good part,
Yeah.
the good half, right?
Yeah.
What? Now I'll probably talk to Andrew because I know he's
Yeah.
over there, like looking at us, like what are they saying
Yeah,
about
yeah,
me?
yeah.
But I'll probably ask him about the big show you got coming up. For people who have never been to the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair,
Yep.
what would they expect when they come to these
Well,
shows?
it is, we really try and focus and be as advertised. So Vintage and Modern Toy Fair is vintage and modern toys. We have everything from, as you wander around, you'll see 50s and 60s die-cast cars, robots, 60s and 70s Japanese toys, all the way up to action figures that were released last Wednesday. So it's just crazy. We have some trading cards, not sports cards, because there's plenty of sports cards shows out there for that.
Okay.
So we really just try and concentrate on the toy side of things. We have quite a few comic dealers, and increasingly we have a lot of retro gaming people. So that's a growing area, and we've got quite a few good dealers that are expanding their inventory and sell through us, which we're very grateful for. Yeah, it's a bit of everything, and it's a good show for people that want to fossick through tubs, $2-3 tubs, or find a high-end piece, either or. So
I get a lot of people these days when I do a lot of the events, and they kind of say, "Oh, this show didn't have enough vintage."
Yep.
I get a lot of that, and then I'm always like, "Well, if that's what you're into, then this is the show to go to, right?"
Yep. I'm sort of the vintage side, Andrew's the modern side, even though he loves vintage stuff as well.
I thought you were both vintage, but okay.
Well, yeah, I am vintage, don't worry, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to find vintage dealers. There's a lot of vintage collectors, but not a lot of dealers. So we had been doing shows ourselves as dealers since the late 90s. So when we started this show in 2019, we contacted everybody we'd ever met that had vintage toys, and so we got a lot of you know, older dealers that came back, like the person down there with the Michael with his Japanese, 60s Japanese toys and stuff, and really make sure, and we hassle them and say, you got to come and bring all along your best stuff and your most interesting stuff. If you just leave it up to fate, they're not going to turn up. You've really got to curate a good show and get them, bring them out of the woodwork. So, and we think a show, the momentum of something like Monster Size that you'll talk about in a minute is going to, we've got vintage dealers coming from interstate and stuff, so maybe it'll be the biggest show in the country, we hope.
Oh, that's what the video's going to be called, that's for
Is
sure.
it? Yeah, we'll wait and see how many turn. It'll be fun.
Is there another Vintage and Modern Toy Fair here before the end of the year?
There is October 19th, I want to say. One more.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah. I
can put it on my little calendar.
Put it on the little calendar, exactly. Yeah, that's you click on the other bit and that's the calendar. I saw that. Yeah, we'll be back here after whether Monster Size is the greatest thing that ever happened or ho hum. Who knows? You'll tell us. You'll be, you know, we don't pay you enough to you know, gild the lily.
Monster Size is, I think, the most hyped up show of the year.
Yeah, it's not our fault. We're not hyping it. We're just
for the core people that love the toys that watch my channel. I think that's what everyone's excited for.
We're pretty excited, and there are a lot of people coming out of the woodwork as private sellers that have never sold before and stuff like that. So we're really excited to see what's going to be there ourselves. And my only thing is that being one of the people that run it, I can't get to run around and have a look and see what's out there. So I'll have to watch your videos. I always see things on your videos, and I'm like, I didn't know that was at our fair.
I always see things in my videos when I'm editing. I'm like, I didn't see that there.
Yeah. And you go, damn, I should have bought that. Nah, awesome. But we'll see you there.
We'll see you at Monster Size. All right, I'm here with Andrew. We've just spent 2 minutes talking about you.
I bet.
Now, we spoke about the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair with Will.
Yes.
We're saving the big news for you. Monster Size is coming up.
3rd of August.
I don't know if you've noticed in my videos, but every time, ever since you announced it, people keep calling it, you know, that big one. You know, the one of the showgrounds.
Showgrounds.
You know, the mega big one.
Giant. Monster.
It's really not that hard, is it?
It's not hard. We just said monsters. And look at our poster that you'll put somewhere. It's Monster Size Vintage and Modern Toy Fair. And I can tell you, the tickets are going on sale 1st of July at 8 p.m.
Are you guys fully out table-wise?
No, we're still selling tables.
There you go, okay.
So you can apply at vmtoyfair.com.au. We're still getting lots of people applying, and we're sending out applications. So there's still time to get on board and sell at the biggest show we've ever done.
Yeah, so if you guys liked what you saw in this video, it's going to be like that, but on steroids, right?
Steroids. Yeah, very excited. Interstate traders are already booked, and welcome more. If they've seen this video interstate, come on down or across, depending on where you are.
You've even invited the interstate YouTubers to come down.
Yeah, bit of competition, but they won't get their...
It's all about love, mate. We all share the love here.
They won't get their vlogs out as fast as this guy.
You know, I can get them out quicker. Like, Sizdog's pretty quick in the past, but I wait till Wednesday. So vendors... There's still time?
Still time. We will have to close off at some point in July because the showgrounds will want us to lock down the plan.
What's the estimated number of tables at the moment?
Well, we've said on our advertising we want 400 plus. That's about 1.5 times as big as our Caulfield show, which was the giant show. And we're already surpassed the table count of Caulfield. So we're on the way.
The most anticipated show of the year, I've been calling
I hope so. I hope so. We're excited for it, and we were at the venue earlier in the week and it was all empty. So we want to see it as full as we can with toys.
Excellent. Cannot wait, mate.
All right. Thanks, Simon.
See you, mate.
See you there.
So another great day at the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair. Now, I did mention that Sarah and I had lunch planned, so get ready for the food porn. Alright, you guys know I love my ramen, and this is the best bowl of ramen money can buy. Now, stay tuned to see what I picked up for the day, but before that, just a quick message from the SimpleVerse. Yo, do you love these videos so much that you want to rock some SimpleSimon swag? I've got 5 designs that can get printed onto t-shirts, stickers, bed sheets, shower curtains, and more, so I can be with you always. Link to my Redbubble store is in the description below.
I got this SimpleSimon clock from the SimpleSimon Redbubble store. It tells the time really good.
Alright, I'm back. Today was another great day. This is definitely one of my, obviously, favourite events when it comes to hunting things that I'm into, the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair definitely provides that. Lots of action figures, lots of vintage, probably more vintage than anywhere else. There was actually a lot of retro games there today as well. I know I said in the video I think I released this week, earlier this week, about the whole retro game scene, and the retro games present is very strong at the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair. It was busy, it definitely got busy at about 10:30, but it wasn't out of control like some of their previous events. In some of my more recent events that I've been going to, it's just been so crowded, it's really hard to film tables. So I had a really good look today at a lot of the tables, but just time went so slow. We bumped into so many people. It took Sarah and I, we were there for already like 2 or more hours, and we only got halfway through the place. And this event's not huge. We got there like literally a minute or two past 9, and we were there till about 12:30 or just after 12:30. So it was a pretty long day. And yeah, the monster size toy fair that these guys are planning, it's gonna be huge. I cannot wait. Did I find something today? So last week at the collector's market in Reservoir, I saw Nathan from Collect and Conquer. He had this really cool RoboCop Ed 209 figure. It was a vintage one too, right? And if you guys saw that video last week, you'll know I didn't spend any money at the event because I was really eyeing off something on Marketplace, and that kind of was my money for the day. So I thought to myself, you know what, this week, if Nathan didn't sell that thing last week, I'll pick that up this week. And after 3 hours, I finally got to his table and I said, do you have it? And I think I got footage at the time. And he was like,
I don't think I bought it with you.
I didn't sell it, but I didn't bring it. I was like, oh man, like it kind of dampened my day a little bit. But then he grabbed out a box under one of his shelves just to double check, and boom diggity, he had it. He had it there. It just wasn't on display. Yeah, this is super cool. This is this is vintage. It's 1989. This Ed 209. So Nathan from Collect and Conquer, he's at all these events, and I guess his specialty is, vintage toys. He doesn't really do modern stuff. I mean, he'll have stuff. He'll have loose figures and stuff that'll be modern. He buys collections, I'm assuming, but he often gets a box imported from the US. I'm guessing he finds stuff cheap over there, and he gets them sent over here every month or two. He'll get a box full of goodies from America, and they're mostly older toys. So I saw this in his latest haul that he posted on Instagram. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. That's how you find out about these things. I always put the links, well, as many links as I can anyway, in the description. I don't always get everyone, but I try my best to do as many links in the description. And the reason you guys should follow those links is because a lot of those guys will post what they've got, what they're gonna have at events and things like that. So, you know, I always try to encourage people to follow the people that are in my videos that I try to plug. So yeah, anyway, super stoked about this. When I first saw it, I was like, I've never seen this one. I started looking up on eBay and I couldn't find this because I've been wanting an Ed 209 figure for a while. I've been wanting a more modern one to go with my RoboCop action figure. So I guess like a 12th scale Ed 209 is more what I'm sort of after. I asked Nathan, what's this one based on? And he said, this is actually based on the RoboCop animation, which I used to watch as a kid. Crazy, isn't it? RoboCop had an animated series, and this is what this Ed 209 is from, which is super cool. And the coolest thing is that he showed me last week, which was really like, wow, that is cool, is on the back of this, there's actually a slot that, he showed me how to do it, but, oh, there you go, it clicks out. You remember cap guns? Not the circular caps, but the strips caps go in there, and this actually fires, which is super cool. That was like, wow, that's super good. Like that, they're not gonna make things like this anymore. So I was super stoked. And I've actually got a vintage, I guess 3 3/4 scale RoboCop here, which is also a vintage one. And I figured these two kind of scale almost perfectly together. So that's gonna go on my vintage shelf next to my RoboCop, and obviously I'll try to get some B-roll footage of this bad boy because it's very, very cool. And I'm gonna try to hunt down some of those caps. Maybe do a little short or something of this thing firing. That's gonna be super cool. Yeah, very happy with that pickup. That's literally, I went today with the intention to pick that up. It was a little bit of a scare when I first saw Nathan, and then he had it, so it was a happy ending in the end. I knew going into today I wasn't really gonna be able to, unless I saw something that was just too good to be true, I wasn't really looking with the intention of buying much else because I knew that's something I wanted. Sarah also picked up some stuff today. Well, she picked up one card, but she was also gifted a card. Oh, I'm not the only one who gets gifts now, apparently. So last week we were both at the Melbourne Collectors Market in Reservoir. I saw the Ed 209 and couldn't afford it, so I was like, hopefully I'll come back at Malvern and buy it. Sarah saw this card last week at the Collectors Market, but couldn't afford it. So she was hoping that it was still available today. This was purchased from our buddy Stefan from Gats Collectibles. So that's the card there that she picked up. And then we ran into John and Giselle from Uwumart. They weren't selling at the event today. They were having the day off and actually being on the other side, which is always fun to see as well. I think they said they didn't know the event was on, and John woke up in the morning. I think he said he saw my post. I think that's what happened. And then they showed up to the event. They said, why not? Let's go check it out. And they gifted Sarah a card. What is this? Oh yeah, jolting charge. That's my favorite type of charge. Don't know, this camera takes a little bit to focus. Hopefully you guys can see that. Again, if not, I'll get some B-roll. But shout out to John and Giselle, very nice people. And they gifted Sarah that card. Vintage Modern Toy Fair, always a great day, and I've met so many people from doing all these events now. It's really, really great, and everyone knows me at these things now, so it's really cool. I definitely met a few people today for the first time who came up and said g'day. Yeah, I had some good chats with some people in the community, so it's always a great time. And again, the Monster Size Toy Fair, if you've never been to an event like this and you're into your vintage and retro collectibles, the Monster Size Toy Fair is going to be off its chops. I cannot wait. Obviously it's a new event. The Giant Size Toy Fair was their previous big event, and they've gone monster size. And just remember the name, it's Monster Size Toy Fair. Everyone keeps referring it to other things. They can't remember the name. It's not that hard. It's a Monster Size Toy Fair. That's in August. Next week, I've got a week off, which is good. Collect Fest is going to be the next big one, which is at the Melbourne Exhibition Centre. It's put on by people who don't normally run collectible fairs. They run like lifestyle events and things, but they're like a promotional machine. So they've got a lot of money putting into this event. So it should be interesting. It's their first event, and yeah, that's going to be the next one. If you guys want to find out about all the upcoming events, I did do a recent update to my SimpleVerse calendar. You can find it on my post tab on my YouTube channel. Go to the channel, click on the post tab, have a scroll and find the SimpleVerse calendar for all events. And I've had a couple of people reach out to tell me about their upcoming events or their next events. So I'll have to do another update soon. So that's where you find all the upcoming events. I am rambling way too long at the end of this video, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. If there's anything you saw in the video that you would have picked up, let us know in the comments, of course. And until next time, I'm SimpleSimon. Tell your friends and keep it simple.